Nod then, Mac. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and make a teapot, all right? Now, this is probably way more clay than I want. This is probably about 3 pounds. 2 would be good, but I'm just going with 3. The clay is a little really wet. So, I'm going to go ahead. We're just going to get it centered. And I'm going to show everybody a bunch of different looks for a lid. But in this particular case, we're just going to do a drop down. All right, I'll show you what that looks like in creating that gallery. So here's the key to it. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to pull up the clay like we normally would with a little bit of a difference. And what's the difference? I'm going to leave this really good and thick, okay? All right, so it's like that. You see how that is? See how thick that is? Now, I'm going to keep it that very thick throughout. And now I'm just going to go ahead and continue to pull up. All right. Again, I'm still going to keep that nice and thick. I'm going to keep thickening that up. We're going to do this again. Now I'm going to go ahead and make probably my last pull. Well, not really my last pull, but we're going to get it nice and thick. All right. So now I've got this. This is where I set my flange up. I'm not going to blow this. I'm going to round this out. I'm going to round this out. All right. Now, Mac, it looks like your fingers are in front of the camera, no? No? Okay. All right. I'm going to round this out, and then we've got this cylinder. This is the time I make the flange. All right. I don't wait till everything's all blown out. I'm going to go ahead, and here's where all the action happens. I'm going to take my thumb, and I'm going to just drop this down. Okay? I'm going to add a little bit of water. All right, and we're just going to drop that down. And look at how I've got that flange. All right? Now, I want to soften this. And then I'm going to push this out just a little bit. All right? This little edge, I pull out just a little bit. And the main reason for that is if I make the lid and it's like this, and somehow during the firing it wants to go like this, I may lock my lid in place. So I just find it easier just to pull that out a little bit. All right. Now that I've gotten this, I've got that nice flange, everything looks pretty good. Now I'm going to blow the shape out. So get my hand in there. All right. Now we just blow out that shape. Whatever we want, we just... right? And again, for this teapot, I'm just thinking about a circle. All right. If you want to clean it up a little bit, I could take a wooden rib and just kind of refine the shape. This rib's this. Oh yeah, let me use this one. If I want to just refine that shape a little bit, I can, and really articulate that edge. And that's probably going to work. Okay, let me just go ahead and clean that up. I want to get that water out of the middle too, but I can do that later. Now that I've got the basic shape of my teapot, I want to go ahead and make the lid. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my calipers, all right, and wherever I do the measurement, I always want to make sure that the measurement is consistent. So what I mean by that is if I'm going like this and I'm looking at it from this angle, when I'm making the lid, I want to make sure I'm sitting the same way. All right, that perspective is important. I'm not measuring it like this, or I want to make sure this fits. All right, so that is, I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. All right, that's perfect. The other little key or little tidbit is make sure that this isn't loose. So when you go to put this over to the side, that isn't loose and that whole thing isn't moving around, and when you go to measure your lid, you're off, okay? So that's good. So we're going to take that, we're going to put that there, and we're just going to go ahead and we're going to wire cut this. And I'm going to drain the water out of this in a second. I'll put this guy off to the side. Now we're going to do the lid. Now the lid, just get a little ball of clay. I don't know, it's like maybe half a pound of clay. I don't need a lot. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to take this, get a rough ballpark figure of what I need. And so I'm thinking about when I throw this, I'm going to throw it like a platter. All right? Thinking platter shape, because that is going to continue that circle, that universal form. So you're going to see that circle slope, and then it's going to come through and follow through. So I'm going to go ahead and make my opening here just a little bit, because I'm going to trim this upside down. So you're looking at it upside down. All right, and again, I'm throwing like a little plate. So let's just see where we're at. Just about there. All right, so I'm going to take this guy. Again, I want this. This might be a little too high. So I'm just going to take my metal rib, just kind of flatten that guy out. All right, now let's see where we're at. Are we there? We are. Now we're a little too big. Okay, that's easy. You can drive this guy right back up just a little bit. All right. And again, I want to measure at the right place. That's perfect. Okay? So that's exactly what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to cut that. And we're going to put this guy away too, and we're going to put the other guy away, the body and the top of the lid away for later. We're going to let that stuff to get to be leather hard. Thanks, Lynn. And now I'm just going to do the spout. So the spout, we're going to take another little ball of clay, tap that one down. All right. And we're just going to get this. All right. All right, so for the spout, I go all the way to the bat head. I'm going to leave that so I can see right through to the bottom. And I'm going to just sort of make this kind of cone shape. So we're going to take this. We're going to bring this guy up. Okay. All right, and then I'm just going to collar it in. Collar it in. All right. You see how I did that? All right, we're going to do that again. We're going to just take this and collar it in. Now, as I'm collaring this in, the walls are getting thicker, and they're getting a little uneven, which is okay. So what I'll do is I'll take my needle tool, and I'll take my thumb and just kind of clean it up from the outside like this. So I'm thinning it out, and I'm elongating it. All right. And you want to make sure you have a nice, decent opening, because glaze is going to go down in there, and this is going to shrink, and then you're going to get glaze going to shrink in the drying process, and it's also going to shrink when you add more glaze around. So you want to just make sure you don't plug that up. So that's a pretty good, looks like a pretty good spout to me for now. If I want, I can get my wooden rib, work that over. All right, and it's okay. It's a little uneven. I could straighten it out, but I certainly can use that to my advantage. But I kind of like that. Do I like that? Yeah, maybe a little bit thinner. Okay, so now that I've gotten that, I feel pretty good about it. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to bend it a little bit, all right? So I'm just going to take that top of that, and we're going to just bend that. You guys see that? And that's going to give that a little bit of movement. Now here's the part that everybody kind of screws up a little bit. So pay attention to this one. So now how I'm cutting this. I want to make sure that this spout doesn't go on like this, like an elephant trunk. Okay? I want the spout to be up and like this. I want that water to go this way. I don't want the water to have to come this way. So I cut from the back and go down. All right? So when I cut it like this. All right, so higher on the back, and then like this. So here we go. Everybody ready? Just like that. Can you see how I cut that? All right. All right, and when that goes, this will be that little well at the bottom of the pitcher, and then this will fit nicely on the top. So there you have it. Okay, does that make sense? We'll let everything get leather hard, we'll trim it up, and we'll put it together. All right.